final 9 of the final round of the 2021 South Florida Open, presented by Tri-Fly Disc Golf, and brought to you here by the PDGA with coverage by Gatekeeper Media. Grant Zellner and Jennifer Allen on the mic as we close out the round here at Markham Park with a final 10 to be exact. Doing our best to crown a champion this afternoon. Thomas Gilbert enters the final part of this round with a one-stroke lead over Kevin Kiefer and Gregg Barsby. Silas Schultz still in the mix. Our lead card is our lead foursome as we close out this round. Gonna start.
An interesting start for sure. This course is not a birdie or die, so it's can you not bogey almost and to keep in there.
Yeah, our players really having to challenge themselves mentally to stay in the hunt here. Hole number 10, our first par 4 of the round, 600 feet even through the chute and then out to the left to a well-guarded pin placement. Gregg has the box.
That's a lot of distance with a low line ceiling.
Gets lucky off the fence there. Just sort of rolls that disc right down that out-of-bounds fence up the right-hand side of this gap.
The poles wouldn't have been there. Maybe go a little further.
I know, right? Silas would have cleared the fence, but manages to ricochet off of a tree there back in bounds. It's a fortunate break.
And they're just trying to do everything they can to get out there. That low line ceiling with a very long hole like that. I like throwing something flipped up, something understable that I can throw hard, but let it carry a little bit further down.
Mm-hmm. Takes a lot of trust with that OB on the right to flip something. You can see there Kevin maybe thinking about that very thing and then nearly puts his pitch out through the one gap in the fence that would have put him out of bounds, but he's safe.
That's one of those things you're like, oh my God, I didn't see that until after you threw it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I thought the same thing. That's the kind of thing I might not even notice until my disc is in the air. Gregg hoping for a lot more ground play off of that shot. He'll have a deep look for birdie.
They're back out to the thick grass. Mm-hmm. They're not going to get the skips, I don't think, out here.
I don't know about you, Jen. These 3 courses have me strongly considering looking for a cheap flight to Fort Lauderdale.
Absolutely. It's been chilly here in Arizona. We could try this out. It's been chillier in Oklahoma, I do know as well.
Yeah, it sure has.
Come on, man.
These courses just so well thought out. Obviously beautiful.
Oh, boy.
Gregg that close from what would have been his first birdie in quite some time, although, not falling out of contention despite that birdie
No,
drought.
He's hanging in there. I keep thinking any one of these holes, one of these players is just going to take off. It's been a slow start really for everyone, but that's the course. It's not allowing for too many opportunities, but there's one. And he needed that, so that's nice to see.
Saves that par.
That was a birdie.
Oh, excuse me. You're right. That was a birdie.
Yeah, he got one.
That's my fault, Greg. I was talking over your putt. Thomas birdies as well.
Okay.
And just like that, because of Greg's bogey here, all of a sudden, we've got a leader outright by 3 strokes over the rest of the card. To your point, Jen, it happened just that quick.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at hole number 11, 345 feet. This is one of those holes, Jen, that for whatever reason looks to me to be a lot shorter than it actually is. There's something about the lay of the land that has me. You can see the basket right there on the edge of the screen. It looks like it's not that far out there.
This green doesn't look quite as guarded as all the other greens, so hopefully they're going to be able to get close and get an open, good, just solid putt at this one.
Thomas using all of the airspace available to him. Puts it 15 feet away. Excellent shot. That's been Gregg's miss almost this entire tournament, that just fractionally overturned shot right out of the hand off the box.
I'm hoping to knife it in there and save that par. We do not want to give up another stroke when your team or the winner is looking at a birdie. The leader, sorry.
Yeah, that wasn't a spoiler alert, by the way.
No, sorry. That was me trying to focus on too many things at once.
But it wasn't not a spoiler alert either. I feel like I have to cover both bases to make sure nobody, reads too much into that.
That's just Jennifer trying to watch and talk, and I'm thoroughly sorry, guys. I'm like a little kid just staring at the screen.
Silas airmails the 25-footer.
That's something you don't see from him.
Mm-hmm. He's been just a little bit off with his putting this entire round.
The whole, putting, driving, everything, the release is just off a hair.
Gregg saves par.
And he needed that for sure.
Yeah, the number of holes left beginning to dwindle.
Great birdie from Thomas. Played the hole correctly.
Hole number 12, 352 feet. Sort of a slow turning right to left. Kind of a crescent-shaped hole here.
Yeah, they were missing a few trees, so they put a big box in the way. It was still guarding the basket.
Brilliant.
I believe he parked the wrong one.
Which is still not a bad shot for the right one.
No, as long as that basket does not get in your way. That's the correct basket we're looking for.
Which way's Gregg gonna go?
I like the Heiser line personally. If you can get it to turn down in there, what looks like that one is. Perfect.
Silas going a little higher.
And lucky to stay in bounds with that one. So close. I'm just back here like, come on, you've got to get one of these to drop. Any minute now. It's just such a great group of putters that we expect to see him fall.
Thomas playing with a lot of confidence. That's 3 birdies in a row.
And that's kind of what I was expecting to start to see is we're going to start seeing some birdies pretty soon. And I think, we've been talking a lot about course design. I think that's something, too, that's interesting. You have a lot of challenging, guarded, possibly losing strokes to start a course. But I think when you're wanting to finish out a tournament, you want that opportunity for birdie to get something going and make it exciting. So hopefully we'll see some birdies start falling.
Just our second par 4 of the day. Hole number 13, 554 feet. And of note, our players had an hour-long backup before getting to start play here on hole number 13.
And you can tell why. There's a lot of challenge on this hole. Not only getting that far down, but then up and tucked in.
How do you handle a backup like that, Jen, when you're playing in a tournament?
I think you almost have to just pretend that you're starting a new round. I mean, an hour is a long time. Hopefully you have some snacks and refreshments there. Cards, maybe. Cards or dice in there. That's a great drive.
Wow.
Oh, don't go in there. Again, back and forth on the ground play. Thick grass, and then that was a lot more dirt that he got a bigger skip than I think he wanted.
Gregg, I think, skipped back in.
Wow.
Off the water and still hit the edge of the marsh with enough force to send up a second splash, but I think he's touching dry land.
Wow, that would be...
I'm anxious to see that.
Yeah, me too. And maybe that scared him a little bit to push it into the trees. I don't see an OB red coming up, so that was some luck right there. That's wonderful.
Look at that.
And a good line. That's where you want to be. I mean, he held it over the water, I'm sure, to get that line into the basket.
Wow.
So just what a risk, but that's the reward he was looking for sure.
He's almost too close to that basket as high as it sits on that little ridge.
That is true. I always feel that way on elevated baskets, just being short.
Right.
Sometimes those angles are hard if it's windy. This one's going to be protected in the trees, but if it's windy and you have to get that putt angle up so high, it's scary.
Silas trying to swing in that forehand. He's about a branch away from putting his shot about where Gregg's ended up, but he'll have some work to do.
That's such a hard angle. I almost wonder if, like, with this being not as much grass, if you could get a little roller to flip up in there. It's a hard placement, but he's going to have a look at it.
Yeah, it's like beat the trees or something roll away. Whatever.
Silas at least will have a pressure-free tap in for par. Looking at Kevin now, no more than 20 feet away, but probably having to putt this like it's a 40-footer.
Yeah. It's hard to get that much uphill on a long putt for sure. And that wasn't an easy par putt. That kind of started to slide down the hill on the other side.
What a great angle to see. Gregg in for the miracle birdie. Hole 14, 372 feet. A par 3. Back in the tight wooded areas afforded by certain sections of this course. But a pretty straightforward hole. You've got water just beyond the basket, no more than 3 paces or so. What was that?
We're going to just continue on the good vibes and love from the previous hole.
Wow.
Sometimes it just doesn't come out like the little drawing on the hole tee side. I'm pretty sure these last couple holes, that is not how it was supposed to be drawn up, but whatever gets it to the basket.
Thomas does much the same, just up the other side of the fairway, manages to find the magic window, and he gets 350 feet out of that drive.
That might have been closer to the tee sign.
Right.
That was what we wanted.
What a shot by Kevin.
And I expect the same from Silas here. He's a really good straight thrower.
Just excellent out of the hand, catches one wispy branch, putting himself about 80 short.
And going at it with that right behind.
Love it.
Yeah. He knows these holes, like you said, we're getting fewer and fewer. We're closer to the end. You've got to start getting some big birdies here.
Thomas said he was running that, but manages, I think, to brush a tree branch that might have been just outside of the frame. That's why
definitely
he came
got tangled
short.
up on something. Yeah, he has a lot more power on his putts than that. Kevin gets a great birdie.
Now Gregg picks up a stroke on the leader. Jumping to hole 14A, the bonus hole for this back nine of coverage, just 152 feet.
Looks like a totally different course, doesn't it?
It really does. Looks like a permanent pin placement though.
Yeah, I think so. These courses are providing everything though. Long, short, tight, open, water.
Looks to me on this hole like as long as you hit the gap with a little bit of power, you can use that hill as a bit of a backstop and at least guarantee yourself a putt from inside the circle. May not be a close putt from inside the circle, might be 28 or 30 feet, but
yeah, that's one of those you want to really watch the angle that your disc is coming in on that hillside. Because you hit that at the wrong angle, it's going to roll down, but you want to just kind of hit it to where it'll slide up towards the basket.
oh, just clears that log. And our putters all from relatively similar locations here. Is anyone surprised to see Kevin put in a putt like that after the way he's putted this entire tournament? That was good to see.
Yeah, and 152 feet, this is kind of definitely has the birdie or die kind of feeling to it, but none of them went long, that's for sure.
Yeah, Gregg.
Gregg very deliberate, as he usually is, and it usually pays off.
And we're getting a lot more green boxes down there. That's what we want to see.
Hole 18 at Worlds, down by one. It's got to go in.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Another par 4, hole number 15, 532 feet, considerable carry over water before knifing back into a tightly guarded green complex. Plus, why not? Let's go ahead and put the basket up on a ridge.
Totally guarded.
This feels right, though. It feels right to have a challenge like this as our lead card tries to conclude this tournament. Safe and dry. That's challenge number 1. Accepted and met by Gregg. Thomas fortunate to deflect sideways instead of straight back.
It's a beautiful shot, though. I mean, just the scenery of this hole.
The sun getting low in the Florida sky. We'll have to wait and see if that's a factor by the end of the round.
And those are the roots you were talking about?
Yep, a few more of them. Silas's drive got so much distance, he had a completely different angle into this green.
Hey, Thomas.
I like the natural elevated baskets like that.
I agree.
They still provide the exact same challenge, but it just...
Yeah, it feels a little bit different than having to putt on a basket that's sitting on a 10-foot pole, that's for sure.
Yes.
Hole 16, 373 feet. Par 3, wrapping all the way around to the right with an out-of-bounds road all the way up the left. Just another good challenge at a good distance.
Yeah, every one of these holes have really provided that for us.
Players talking about there being a little bit of a headwind on this hole that they can't feel off the box, but it's affecting the disc toward the end of its flight. Thomas takes the high route. Nobody closer than about 40 or 45 feet, though.
I feel like Silas likes to follow Thomas, so we're going to see the same shot here.
That looks really good.
Same shot, except using a backhand to go, and actually lands within about 5 to 8 feet of where Thomas's shot landed. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's a hard turn around there. And there was a little bit of low-lying branches, but then you have to clear it high.
Gregg just tickles the chains, and he knows how important every one of these putts is. That was an
He was
opportunity.
going for it. Yeah, he was.
One more time, though, Jen, our lead card steps up to a fairly gettable hole and comes away with not a birdie amongst them.
I don't know. 373. That was a hard line to get to the basket for a par 3. This is definitely probably. I'd like to see the percentages of how many birdies were actually scored on this hole today.
It's a good point. I mean, 28 in the field.
This
Looks
is
like
one
there
of those
were
kind of in between. Again, you know, it's really hard to make that call.
looks like there were 3 birdies on the day here on hole
There
16.
we go. You're gonna be the new stat guy too.
Yeah. The penultimate hole, hole 17, 420 feet, a par 3.
This one, the line to the basket looks a little bit more approachable, gettable.
Hold it.
Gregg laying down one of the few rollers we've seen all weekend long.
Yeah, maybe the thick grass, because Gregg is known to throw some great rollers, so just wasn't the course for him. But trying to get the distance, he really needs to start getting birdies. We're getting down to the end. Trying to use the road.
Dude, 2 foot left. It was perfect.
Look behind Silas there
I know,
at the
I was
other
going to say, I wonder what they're watching. Checking the scores.
Yeah.
Silas loves it out of the hand, and you can see why.
Yeah, it definitely is one of those holes that looks like playing the road is the way to get that little bit of extra distance to get around the corner. Did
Kevin
not work out, yeah.
just didn't quite get it, talking about just repeating his tee shot so that he can benefit from good footing. Now it looks like he'll be walking over to a drop zone.
Yeah, it's hard to see. He had such a great round going. It's nice to see players that we don't see on tour all the time having a good solid round and battling for the win. Thomas's putt just is off a little bit today too, hasn't it?
And you know what? Things really interesting here, because here we are, Gregg, an opportunity to take it to a 1-stroke deficit heading into the final hole. This is really, really interesting.
And that's what we were seeing round 1. I knew it was going to come back. And he's the type of player, he just needs 1 or 2 of those to fall to really just motivate himself to just keep him going.
What a perfectly judged putt. Okay, Jen, so here we are as we watch Silas just off on the weak side. Here we are entering the final hole of this tournament. with a tight battle at the top. As the sun sets in Florida, we'll be playing this, the 18th, 710-foot par 4 to finish off our round.
So these were just not those short little birdie putts or holes to finish the round. This course has been challenging from start to finish.
Look how quickly Gregg played.
Yeah, he wants to keep it going for sure, that momentum.
Just grabs his disc, steps onto the edge of the box, and goes directly into his throwing motion.
And maybe, we've been talking about wind a lot too. Sometimes you want to, if you don't really feel that wind in your face, and you have been, you want to take advantage of it before it kicks back up sometimes.
There they are, our leader and our chaser within about 10 to 15 feet of each other. Virtually identical second shots coming up for the two of them. Silas a little bit frustrated, not because of that shot, more because of the final round that he had. That shot had a chance.
Yeah, it's hard to follow up those, hot rounds. We saw it from Gregg, round 1 to 2. We see it from Silas from round 2 to 3. Mentally, this game is so important.
Wow. Kevin with one more for the highlight reel. And now Gregg. Just pins it. The pressure on Thomas. Okay, Thomas into about 18 to 22 feet.
Bring it.
I think both of those players are the type of players that love the challenge. That would have been fun to see. Just drop in, wouldn't it?
Out of the tree and into the basket. That would have been a blast.
Yeah.
Silas, after going OB on his tee shot.
Came close again on that second one. I didn't realize how close that was to going out again.
Silas in for par does secure a top 5 finish. He'll be back. Thomas to win. Oh, wow.
I don't think anyone would have bet on that. That was just very uncharacteristic of Thomas. Maybe, something so short like that, when you're such a great putter, you just kind of think you got to raise your arm and it's going to go in. And that was, something shocking to see for sure. I don't think it was the pressure of the putt. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. And you know what? He might not know exactly what it was.
But that's a good feeling for Gregg right there to snag that birdie and tie it up and push a little bit more golf.
Yeah, you can tell. I've kind of been in this situation a time or two. Gregg almost feels bad. You know.
Yeah, he's just shocked. That's just something he doesn't miss much.
And Gregg will feel bad for about 15 seconds, and now he's back to business.
Yes, back to hole 1. In the dark. Beautiful sun setting down here in Florida.
Now the question is, how does Thomas feel right now? Can he
I
channel?
think you use it as anger. Yeah, I think you
can he
kind of
channel
use
it?
that to motivate you to park this and end it. It's funny how our mind works sometimes.
Well out over the road. What's going to happen now?
He almost got that skip.
All right, guys. And
Okay, so Gregg needing to put some pressure on Thomas. No doubt he's running that.
Such a great look. Absolutely.
come on, man.
One more time, Thomas for the win.
That's what we expect to see out of Thomas. Maybe the other one was just a little too short, but they wanted a little more excitement and go one more hole. It wasn't enough today, but wonderful win. Good to see, and a great battle between all of them.
Literally putting into the Florida sunset to close out the 2021 South Florida Open. There he is, your champion, Thomas Gilbert, all the way from Canada to the subtropical climate. I could be wrong. It could be a tropical climate that far south.
2021 South Florida Open champion.
Maybe that's what it was. He wanted to hold on to the warm weather in Florida before he had to go home just a little longer.
Thank you all.
Great win, Thomas. Way to finish out the year.
Oh, gosh. Man. Didn't think it was going to come down like that, but I'm glad you guys were all here to see it. Maybe not that putt on the last hole there, but, you know, it was a fun battle, and I can't wait to come back to Florida again very, very soon. Thank you, guys.
It's easy to laugh at yourself when you're able to cash the victory putt on the first hole of a playoff. Thomas Gilbert wins. Gregg Barsby, obviously our runner-up. Kevin Kiefer, what a great showing for that young man at 20 under par. Third place. Sullivan Tipton, hats off to him for his top 5 finish from one of the chase cards. As we close out the 2021 South Florida Open. Thanks for watching the PDGA on YouTube.